Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I haven't been uploading as many long length videos. I've been mainly doing shorts just because I just haven't had a whole lot of time being out of town for spring break, and then been so busy being now a home dealer for the Bacch-SP products, which you've seen me feature a lot of. Been amazing having home demos, emails all day, phone calls all day, demos. 2 people came in today. I got 2 people tomorrow. And actually at the end of this video, I will share with you a longer length review. I usually been doing shorts just as soon as I record them, I upload them to share with you guys. But I have a longer one that is going to be at the end of this video. I'll put chapters if you want to jump ahead and just hear the latest report of being in my room with the Bach. But don't want to turn the channel into totally 100% Bach. There's just nothing else right now making that big of a difference. But there are other things that came out of the recent Florida show that I wanted to share with you. I didn't highlight it too much, but tweaks. And one tweak that I started my whole channel on was vibration control. I recorded these set of videos that were really meant just for a small group of people, put it on YouTube because it was easier for us to share. And then I decided to just make it public. So they're very primitive videos if you go back and watch my very first videos on the channel. But I was interested in vibration control and doing a much more thorough testing of these products that I had and comparing the isoacoustics I had at the time versus other things. Townsend was something that I had, the bars really intrigued me, and I had gotten anecdotally good results sound-wise. I wanted to test it and find something I could hang my hat on with vibration control to show that, yes, not only audibly, I think I heard a difference that's pretty tangible, but also measurable. What is really working with this product versus another product? When would you use one versus the other? And in short, there, I did have a lot of good information back at that time, but as things have gone on, I've realized resonances are a mixed bag, guys. You may never trigger a resonance that's audible or problematic with the exact same speakers, exact same equipment, or sometimes you may trigger a lot of resonances. Small things in your room, probably even atmospheric pressure and stuff can impact resonances. It's so weird how things can react. When you play a certain song, it'll resonate things in your room. Your floor will sing along. Your walls will. The speaker cabinet itself. And that's why I don't really consider vibration control the prototypical tweak that you can overlook and just do at your convenience for modest to little benefit. I think vibration control, when done with speakers and turntables, are almost a requirement. And you see with speakers, especially if you watch my tour of the Magico facility, the amount of effort that goes into creating a non-resonant cabinet. They don't do it just for show. There's a reason, because cabinet resonances is something I'm very sensitive to and I've always hated. Even open baffle speakers have cabinet resonances. You think they don't have a whole lot of baffle. Sometimes that's a negative because it does make it less secure, firm, braced, such that you do get resonances. My other speakers, not these, had a lot of resonances. And the grills themselves often resonate and sing along with the music. So dissipating vibrations is a complex formula. Don't fall for all these pseudo experts that claim always use cones, always use decoupling. It's much more sophisticated than that, guys. You really have to understand to a higher level what happens with resonances and when to use cones versus absorption and decoupling. There's no one formula fits all. In general, what I have found from my room, my gear, reliably, is that I like decoupling and absorption better than cones that just direct it into one point. There's something to be said about directing it into one point because you will change the resonant characteristic of whatever's sitting on that cone. You're directing the vibrations, but you're not really getting rid of it. You're sending it down into another surface that's going to vibrate. And especially with speakers or subwoofers, putting it on cones, it's just sending all that vibration into your floor. And guess what? Your floor will resonate. Your walls, other things will resonate. That resonance will come back up. You've seen it with turntables, with rumble. Rumble filters may band-aid the problem, but as you heard in my interview with JR of Wally Tools, that's just indicative of a feedback loop of vibrations coming through your system over and over and over. audible, makes your drivers work much harder. You can see the vibration causing an issue in the sound quality and making your amps work. So ignoring vibration control and considering that snake oil is okay for DACs and servers and stuff like that. I can understand people being a little more skeptical, but for turntables and speakers, vibration control is critical. And companies spend a lot of money to dissipate it or address it and make the cabinets inert. Or, as you'll see with BBC monitors, Harbit Spendors, thinner cabinets, sometimes they intentionally know that the cabinet's going to resonate, but they make it resonate at a frequency that either works with their design goals, their crossover, such that it's at the budget point that they're building for, it's not as obtrusive. So you got to be careful about applying vibration control to those cabinets that are designed to resonate at a specific point. Again, getting to back with what I'm saying, everything in this hobby is much more sophisticated than these primitive guys that just tell you, use cones, use this, use that. Don't listen to the people that really don't understand it, don't measure it, don't really test things thoroughly. So what I'm going to show you today is a tweet that I saw at the Florida Audio Show. Viablue makes cables that were intriguing, look nice, high quality made, and they're from Germany. We're not talking about cheaply made stuff, but also their vibration control intrigued me because when I learned my initial vibration control, I really liked the Townsend stuff, the decoupling method, the best for my products and my system and room. But they're expensive, number one. And number two, for GR Research NXtremes, a very tall speaker, putting it on a decoupled platform that isn't super secure is not as conducive. So people have always asked me, what are your other options for these kind of speakers or lower budget points? And if you remember in those early videos, if you watched, I had a few solutions that were dirt cheap. So one thing I'll show you is I came up, and I kind of got this from the Townsend idea, was double yellow squash balls inside of vibropods. This isn't a vibropod, but just think of the vibropod and the cup that it has. You put these in there. I found measurement-wise, when you have an impulse, and this gets back to the more sophisticated part of this, you're not really trying to stop an impulse. I mean, if you bang on your speakers, if you slam your foot into the ground, you drop a weight, you do that, almost every vibration is still going to be felt by other things in the room. That impulse, yes, you want to somewhat mitigate it, but the real problem happens when you're getting all these impulses with music constantly playing. That can be a problem in itself, but the real problem comes, I've found, with the ringing after that impulse. Because if you have an impulse and then it's followed by another impulse of a music instrument, note playing, that's fine. But if that first one hits the impulse and then there's a lot of ringing after the fact with that impulse, then you have another, the ringing ends up building up such that it causes resonances that cross that level of threshold where now it becomes audible, problematic, creates a rumble in your turntable setup, creates a resonance in your speakers, and those are very tough to get rid of once you have that problem. And no speaker, other than the Magico, which has that meticulous level of measuring every part of the cabinet to predict at different volume levels and stuff where the weak points are. And to Danny's credit, these GR Research NXtremes, huge cabinet, not totally enclosed, so it doesn't have four corners bracing it. There's a lot of braces behind here, a lot of no-res. But is there a weakness? Yes, there is. In the MTM part of this cabinet, this is all, if you can see here, this is all one piece. But on the other side, it's cut out pretty significantly. And there's a large percentage of area here where there is no bracing, just due to the nature of the tweeter being here. All these the woofers and all that have lots of bracing in the back of the speaker. So I can tell there's a little bit more resonance. You can feel it when music is playing, more resonance here than other spots. And so, again, at the price point, though, it's still quite commendable. You probably aren't going to have an audible problem with resonances with GR Research NXtremes, but occasionally, when I'm playing test tones, and I run test tones all the time, and running them each speaker alone tells me if the resonance is coming from that speaker very easily, and only the source from that speaker. Occasionally, when this speaker is running test tones in that 200 to 300 hertz range, you'll hear a slight resonance, slightly the cabinet singing along with it, triggered sometimes, not much. And certainly test tones are an extreme situation. You never really play test tones with real music. So when multiple frequencies are playing, it throws that equation totally off. So it's not a guarantee that it's going to be audible with music, but it's there. At least in my room on this floor that these are in, I hear it sometimes. And I'm a perfectionist. If I can get rid of it, I'll try. So the method of putting them on the floor in my room here, second floor room, isn't ideal. And plus I got big subs that feed vibrations potentially up into it. A lot of factors that may not apply to you, may apply even worse to you. So what did I find at, well, there are some homegrown solutions that you can use other than the Townsend. And again, I don't think spikes are the answer at all. Feeding that into the floor is just going to make your floor resonate, and the floor resonating and singing along may even be worse than the speaker cabinet resonating. And conversely, you don't want it going into other pieces of your gear, going up. Guys, it'll go up through a spike just as easy as it goes down, okay? This impression that the vibration's nowhere to go is kind of a fallacy. But in any case, for absorption and decoupling, I did find a super cheap solution other than you can't put speakers on top of squash balls. These will eventually deform anyway. This already has deformed with normal electronics being on it. So these aren't a long-term solution. They're cheap budget solution inside of vibropods. There are these kind of pucks that I've used them on washing machines in my house, also air conditionings outside of my house, putting them on these. These help stop resonances in the cabinet of my air conditioner and washing machine. So likewise for a speaker, you may have good success at a very $3 you can get these. But high end, is it totally as good? Sorbethane and these kind of things are okay, but not as good as other options. So what are some better options? And you don't want to spend as much as the Townsends. Well, I found this company Viablue at Florida Audio Fest, and they have these things called Viablue UFO pucks. And again, I like absorption, decoupling better than points, although they also make points. So kudos to them because they realize it's not that primitive where one solution always is the better. A company that makes spokes shows that they understand that, so kudos to them on that. But my favorite so far has been this puck. This thing will hold a set of 4 of these 600 pounds. So almost any speaker will fit on this, including the biggest subwoofers, which is another problematic thing with most footers. You can't put the weight on it or it'll damage your floors or it doesn't support it. Especially some of the Townsends, you're going to need a lot, those big platforms. But what these are is it's got 2 different membranes of absorption. One up here is different thickness, then a layer of metal, and then another. And so it has to go through the absorption and both different types of material membranes, plus the metal provides a very effective means of absorbing vibrations and getting rid of it more so than just transferring it around. And with the weight capacity of this, any speaker will work with this. So, did I try it on my GR Research NXtremes? Yes. How did I know it worked though? Well, I didn't use the ham seismograph app yet because these are hard to even put that app and measure the difference in vibration control. But I was able to audibly hear instantly because I played the same test tone sweep that repeatedly over and over. If I ran it on the speaker, I would occasionally hear that resonance. Ever since I put this on there, no longer there. Then, again, test tones don't guarantee in the audible side, but then I played some tracks where I had a lot of standing bass material in that area, one instrument playing in that, not other things helping to mitigate or mask those resonances. And sure enough, I feel very confident in an A/B test that on certain songs, certain areas, that the cabinet was adding a little bit of bloom in those areas, which sometimes people may even like that. You know, who knows? It may not be obtrusive resonance just because it has a resonance, but I found it cleaner and better on certain tracks for sure with this underneath my GR Research NXtremes. Doesn't mean everybody with GR Research NXtremes need these because, again, your floor may be fine. You don't have a resonance. You may have things worse. These may not even be enough. Maybe you need the Townsend platforms or something more substantial. But I want to just share with you what works for me, and I'm 100% confident in this. Now, they sent me some other ones that you can look at potentially for yourself. I haven't tried these, can't endorse them with the level of security with these, but they have a smaller one. These have 600 pounds. If you want to get away with the smaller ones, these are hold about 200 pounds, a set of 4 of these, which should be plenty enough for most speakers. Now, one reason why I like these as well compared to the isoacoustics I had, I do like the width. I like a lot of area to be on the puck. So that's why another reason why I'm using these under the NXtremes, even though I could use these. I like the wide area, and I like that it doesn't add a lot of height to the speaker. Not that the height is a problem with the isoacoustics. They're more compact and higher. But sometimes if you've got everything calibrated for the right height, the tweeter, you know, the way the speaker is designed at its height on whatever footage it's given with, sometimes the isoacoustics changes that. And depending on your listening chair, it may be a benefit, may make things worse to elevate it higher. And then I can just say that I kind of prefer these at a lower cost to the isoacoustics. I ended up selling my isoacoustics a while back. Townsend still is my number one, but for people that have been asking me and I couldn't give them an answer, what do they recommend under the Townsends? That high value equation that's still audiophile related and a little bit better than the $3 pucks I just showed you, or something like this. This is now my new favorite. Now, you can get away with the smaller one in a lot of cases, but if you want spikes, these spikes are extremely impressive. They're machined. Again, these are Germany machined, very heavy, very substantial. And these are actually like modular. They're components that screw together. It's not one piece. And so it changes the diameter as you go up, and very well made. And it comes with the coasters that, you know, you fit the point into this. This is very attractive, guys, and not that expensive at all. So I was very impressed that this was Germany made, of this quality. I like it a lot. For just aesthetics, cones all look better than these. I think these perform better than cones in general, but this looks great. And then they have ones for carpeting. I'll show you here. The 3 prongs, and then the coaster that will either protect it on the 3 prong, or you can go into carpet with more 3 prong. Very attractive. Doesn't add a lot of height if that's a problem with cones being too much. And then there's another option, a smaller cone that for smaller gear, lighter gear, and then it has the matching coaster. Again, this is all one piece versus the other one more modular. Very impressively made. As good a cones as I've seen, and I would have expected price tag wise when you said Germany, an audiophile brand, much higher price than what you pay for these. So just wanted to share a little bit of this tweak side stuff. Again, this stuff is not required, but in the line of tweaks and importance, I definitely put that up there, right up there, and sometimes even higher than power delivery. You know, getting dedicated lines and such. This can have, if you do have a resonance problem, can make an instant A/B difference. If you have rumble in your turntable, this potentially can make a difference. So there's no one solution fits all. Decoupling generally is my preference. Absorption like this, next preference. Cones, you know, mixed bag. Give it a try yourself. Not that expensive to try all these different types. Let me know what you think on your thoughts. And if you've had experience in the past and have a chance to measure this, I'm all ears. I want to hear some more. But without further ado, I'm also going to share with you somebody that came into my system today, heard the Bach, heard my system, listened to what he says, and come on out and see me at Expona, or if you're in Houston, give me a call. You could be in that seat as well. All right, guys, back in my listening room. In my demo chair is Jerry. First time meeting him, been a member, subscriber for a while. You notice Joseph as well back there. Jerry is going to be a soon to be owner of the audio by Bach, and came to town, got a chance to hear it, helped me do the unboxing of mine that I just got in. So just wanted to get your thoughts, Jerry, now that you've got a chance to hear it.
Yes, well, I guess we've been at it for about an hour, but we did it Bach in the system, out of the system. Bach in the system, there's no going back once you hear Bach. It's just a very natural presentation, great expansion to the sound stage, but in a natural way. It actually sounded much better than I thought it was going to sound, in terms of no artificial artifacts of any kind. It takes you right into the recording venue. I purchased without having a demo like this, really based on Jason and his insights and other things that I had heard and seen. But it's a real game changer, and I think for me it's a great direction to go. I'm very, very pleased with what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm happy that you got that audio and got to see the chassis as well. We got to see some of the aesthetic elements today.
Yeah, that was great to see that. What great build quality, great packaging. You can tell that a lot of care and thought are going into the product. So I'm excited to actually get that into the system and in my own space.
Great. Well, great meeting you. Thanks for coming by. Glad you enjoyed it. Joseph is going to be doing his first demo here soon. And also we're going to be talking to Joseph about his experience with Rockport that I promised in the past. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you back here soon.